Please rewind this cassette.
I need to get some more pot. I'm running out. I need to get laid.
The Rules of Attraction came out in 2002 and was based off the Bret Easton Ellis novel from 1987. Easily one of my favorite books of all time, I'm here to defend the film adaptation as an underrated piece of entertainment from the wild man Roger Avery. Avery's best known for working on the script to Pulp Fiction. He has a career of highs and lows, and at the time I think you would call this movie a low. I mean, sure, it made its money back, grossing $11 million on a budget of $4 million. But several critics disliked the film upon release, with many of them just outright hating it for its cynical attitude and unlikable characters. Even with the small but solid cult following, I can't help but feel like so many people miss the point of this movie and don't appreciate it as an adaptation of the original novel. The characters are supposed to be unlikable, and the humor of the story comes from getting to see the world from their points of view. Now, to make a comparison, I think the best movie, and easily the most popular based off an Ellis novel, is American Psycho. Well, why is that? In my opinion, it's mostly due to it being satirical in nature, and the comedy really hits in the film version. Stuff that I found over the top or gross in the book is streamlined by the filmmakers who focus in on the conceit of the story. Christian Bale is so charismatic as Patrick Bateman that it's easy to like him despite his cold and violent persona.
I live in the Hollywood Gardens building on North Highland Avenue on the second floor. My name is Rico Bateman. I'm 34 years old. We're still in quarantine, but I believe in taking care of myself and a balanced diet and a bi-weekly home workout routine. In the morning, if I'm hungover, I'll smoke organic indica while doing my leg lifts. I can do 15 now. After I get bored of checking social media, I'll hydrate with a sparkling water lime LaCroix with no calories, sweeteners, or sodium. In the shower, I use a Perithione Zinc dandruff shampoo and conditioner advanced 2-in-1. Then I apply a Hawkridge scented body wash from the Wild Collection. I finish with a mango-infused White Claw hard seltzer. It's only 100 calories and has a 5% ABV. Then I apply a rosemary lavender natural deodorizer, free of aluminum, parabens, and phthalates, and let it neutralize my odor for 10 minutes while I prepare the rest of my routine. I always use a forming cream with medium hold and shine because no hair product makes you look homeless. Then a soft moisturizer cream with jojoba oil, followed by a Hydro Boost exfoliating cleanser. Then, to be extra safe from COVID-19, I wash my hands with a naturally derived sea mineral foaming hand wash for 2 minutes. There is an idea of Rico Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And though I can hide my cold face, and you can wave to me from 6 feet away and feel my eyes meeting yours, and maybe you can even sense our Zoom meetings are probably comparable, I simply am not there.
On the other hand, Rules is much closer to the tone of the original source and doesn't really play as a satire. It's more of an ensemble character study that doesn't attempt to make you root for anyone. Sure, some of these people are bad, but that's kind of the point, and Avery shouldn't be criticized for pulling this off as well as he did. If there's any criticism I could see as a valid one, it's that Avery sacrifices artistic merit for the chance to come across as cool. He uses so many tricks when it comes to the editing, narrative structure, and voiceover present throughout the film that I can't help but be impressed by it. This was one of the first studio films to be edited on Final Cut Pro. The way it's put together is truly audacious and showy. There's this fantastic montage built around a character discussing his trip to Europe, and it's easily one of the craziest and most kinetic sequences from that entire decade.
Billiards, went shopping, I think she gave me mono. Drove a Ferrari that belonged to a member of the Saudi royal family, made out with a Dutch model in front of the Louvre, saw the Arc de Triomphe and almost became roadkill crossing the street. Oki invites me to Dublin, so I catch an Aer Lingus flight and stay at the Morrison. Dublin rocks like you can't imagine. Oakenfold lets me spin some discs with them. Irish girls are as small as leprechauns.
It's also worth noting the soundtrack, as the movie is filled with needle drops of iconic rock and pop hits. Avery's putting a lot into this, and for some people the style can overtake any form of substance. Personally, I think it's the best directing of his career, miles ahead of his stylized but noisy work on films such as Killing Zoe and Mr. Stitch. To be fair, a lot of critics and audience members did respond to the film positively on a technical level, but most of the criticisms seemed to be targeted towards the content. From the opening scene that features one of the most disturbing depictions of sexual assault since A Clockwork Orange, to the end sequence that leaves several storylines unresolved and messy, it's easy to understand why this picture leaves a bad taste in one's mouth. However, not only do I find the world of this movie fascinating, I think the performances are so excellent across the board that they elevate the characters above their shallow brushstrokes. James Van Der Beek has always been one of my favorite actors, and he's a revelation as Sean Bateman, the drug-dealing rich kid who's gotten in too deep with the wrong people. Not only does Van Der Beek crush the comedic and manic sides of Bateman's personality, but he brings a sympathetic quality to the character with his disappointment at not being able to improve himself. Same goes for Shannon Sossamon as Lauren, easily the best person out of the three leads. Despite being a virgin who gets abused, manipulated, and mistreated throughout the entire film, she never lets herself come across as a victim. Then there's Ian Somerhalder as Paul, the funniest and most perverse character of the three. He's in love with Sean and is apathetic towards everyone and everything around him. There's also great supporting work from Eric Stoltz, Thomas Ian Nichols, and Fred Savage in memorable and perfectly pitched comedic turns.
I can feel my dick. I can feel my dick.
There's so many characters and so much going on that I think it's hard to be bored during the almost 2-hour experience. Avery has said that his goal was to create an art house film for teenagers. And that's probably why it attached itself onto me when I first saw it at the age of 14. My sister owned this movie and I borrowed her DVD to watch it on my computer, something that I did a lot in those days. I was utterly shocked and even a little turned on from the material. In my early days of becoming a film buff, I hadn't seen many movies, so this was one of the first times I saw something with so much sexual content and drug use. So is my liking of this simply nostalgia, because when I saw it I was the perfect age for it? Is this the Doors of movies? Perhaps on some level that's true, but even today I think it's a good movie. And how I can sympathize with these characters in the way they're all seeking love and deeper connection with others still really resonates with me. On some level, these people are aware of their own flaws and want to overcome them in the hopes of feeling more alive. Everyone is in love with Sean, including Sean with himself. Or maybe he's just in love with a fantasy, as he checks a locker for letters from a secret admirer he never learns the true identity of. But in the world of Ellis, dreamers, and those with faith, aren't rewarded for their acts of sincerity. To extend on this point of the characters chasing fantasy, Avery is quoted as saying that Lauren doesn't just want to lose her virginity, she has a dream about how she wants to lose it. Whether it be her dreamy Victor or Sean Bateman, she wants to feel complete, to know what sex fully is, to have that shared moment with a man. By the end of the movie, she's aged a decade in just a semester. Who has she become? I'm not really sure. This movie isn't about answers, It's about transformation, the changes. And that's the thing about this flick. All of us are changing moment to moment, day to day. Well, these people are no different. And even though they might be starting or currently at a worse place than yourself, there's the chance they could transform into someone better, just like you could transform into someone worse. On the character of Sean, Avery said, he calls himself a vampire, but more than that, he's a shark. He dies if he slows down, a consuming machine. He needs to experience moment to moment, second to second, or he dies. By the midpoint of the film, his character is consumed with the idea of being loved and loving. But he's still a shark. He's still a monster. See, in the work of Ellis, there's often a breakdown and criticism of the upper class and capitalism. He's not really against either of these things, but his observational mind can't help but point out the hypocrisy and damaging nature of a society built on consumption. We all want to fuck, but we judge and demand the attention of those who don't want us. We all want status and validation, but we protest those who are born into a better situation than our own. Is it the system that makes us like this, and thus is the monster? Or is it that we are too scared to reveal our true selves to each other, and so we become detached from any real feeling because we would rather be dead than embarrassed? The world is a vampire. It sucks the life out of you and leaves you either dead or turns you into a reflection of itself, a reflection that you can't see. Ellis has said that this is his favorite adaptation of his own work, as well as the closest to capturing the tone and world of the book. It's a mean movie, and at times an unpleasant way to spend 2 hours. But on the same note, it's hard to ignore, and it stays with you long after it's over. A dead glam classic that hits a nerve. The Rules of Attraction remains an overlooked film from a now forgotten filmmaker. If you haven't seen it, give it a chance. And if you have seen it and you didn't like it, well, give it another shot and you might be surprised. Highly recommended to the lovable asshole inside of all of us. Ciao. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.
Oh, I can feel my dick. I can feel my dick. Oh, oof. Oh my God.